Oh, we're ready?
In three,
Okay, 2.
2, 1.
Hello. Hi, this is Matt Perlstein, and I'm back to talk some more about emotional intelligence, how to be smart with our heart as well as our head. So, this is number 9, EQ-101, number 9, and the topic this time is the number one most important relationship in our lives, which is your relationship with you. So I was going to make this about self-talk, and I talked a little bit about this last time in number 8 about communications, and part of that was about self-talk, about how do we talk to ourselves. And I was going to make this whole episode on that, but I kind of expanded it because it's not just about how we talk to ourselves. It's what is our intention, what is behind all that, how do we actually treat ourselves. That to me is emotional intelligence, because it's me, hanging around with me all day, every second of every day for the rest of my days. And there's voices in my head, there's communications going on, I make decisions, I have thoughts, I have feelings, I have to sort through all that. Well, that sorting and those voices and the way that we treat ourselves is a big deal. And so it's all about really the relationship that we have with ourselves. It's a relationship, and I'll go into my theories on how this works. But if you would just listen in and kind of explore a bit about how it is for you. So EQ is the study of you, of me, of we. So we're delving into I call it a meta-analysis, which is the bigger picture. Why do I think what I think? Thinking about what I think, feeling about what I feel, that kind of thing. So that to me gives me power and control over my life, is that I can be in charge of what happens on the inside. I can figure out what's the best things for me to say to myself and some things not to say to myself. Not being emotionally intelligent, we end up making decisions, we end up talking to ourselves, we end up carrying voices around, and they're things that maybe from our past, maybe from when we were little, and maybe from the environment of what's happening around us. We're reacting to it constantly, but we have so much control. We have the power and we have the control by being able to adjust how we talk to ourselves, how I treat me. I used to be not very nice to me, and it didn't go well. There was a long time where I was pretty yucky to me, and I said things that weren't very nice, and I called myself names, and I put myself down, that kind of thing. And that kind of self-talk is not helpful. we judge a lot of this stuff by, is it helpful or not helpful? That's not helpful. But there are some ways that there are. So let's talk today about what to say and what maybe not to say about in our relationship with ourselves. Okay? Starting back just a little bit, EQ is about educating ourselves on the inside, educating our heart and our mind. It's kind of weird because we got left brain and right brain, right? Your thoughts and your feelings, but we also have our head and our heart analogy. Of course, your heart's not in your head, but but the feelings are on the right side of your head. So head and heart, I don't know. Anyway, that's what we're trying to get, is that our thoughts. We have thoughts. You've got thoughts all day, every day. We have feelings too. We learn lots of stuff about our thoughts when we're growing up, but we don't learn too much, and we certainly don't talk very much about our feelings. Ooh, especially guys. Ooh, we don't talk about that stuff, right? And so how are we supposed to get good at it? Because we're not getting away from it until we're done. We think and we feel all day, every day, and it affects everything that we do, every decision we make, everything we say, everything we choose, everything we write. All of it is thoughts and feelings. It's all we got, and actions. So to me, studying this stuff and being aware of our thoughts and our feelings and our actions is pretty darn important, because I don't have that much control over a lot of things in my life. I have very little control over lots of things. But this thing I have way more control over than I ever thought possible. And what we're finding is a lot of people are going, wow, really, yeah, you can choose positive. You can think positively on purpose. You can adjust things around inside. EQ gives us power and control. Whatever's happening outside, the environment, the economy, the government, the military, the fighting, good stuff, bad stuff, it doesn't really matter. All that stuff outside of us, we have a little bit of control over some of it, right? But then there's what's going on inside. There's a whole nother world. The EQ is emotional intelligence, being smart about ourselves. And that on the inside, we have tons of power over and tons of control. And we never learn that, but we do. We do. So there are 3 steps to it, 3 basic steps. One is awareness. Always first, key to any change is awareness. What are you talking about? What do I think? What do I feel? What's a feeling? What's a thought? What goes on inside of me? How do I handle stuff? Being aware of it. You can't make logical decisions on things we're not aware of, right? We can't. So we become aware, mindfulness, consciousness, awareness, whatever you want to call it. So step 1 is always awareness. Step 2, acceptance. Okay, yeah, you can fight it, you can deny it, you can drink over it and do all kinds of stuff to try and avoid it. You can pretend, you can do all kinds of things, or you can accept it. You can go, wow, yeah, that is what I do. That is how I am. That is how I have been. It does not have to be how I'm going to be, but it is how it is. As Wayne Dyer said very famously, it is how it is, exactly as it is. And once we can accept that, that's the number one biggest lesson for personal growth. It is how it is, accepting that. And then third is action. So we're aware, we accept it, and then we act. Or not. We decide. We get to decide consciously. That's the intelligence part. That's the power and control part. I got it, I see it, I accept it, and I'm not going to do it. Or I am going to do it. I'm going to do this. In fact, I am going to do this, right? I can do what I want to do now that I have some idea what's going on. That's intelligence, being aware, being accepting, deciding consciously. So, that said, I'm going to say, I've said it every time. This is the 9th one. I'm going to say it every time. I'm going to say it every time from there on. The number one biggest step in this whole thing is emotional responsibility. And that means that we, like I said, you have choice. I'm going to go back one slide. We had 2 slides. We have choice of what's going on inside of us, not necessarily so much outside, but we definitely do inside. And going inside, we have the power and control. So in emotional responsibility, what we're saying is that I am 100% at choice about what's happening inside of me. I created it. I can manage it. I can accept it or not. I can fight with it, or I can do whatever I'm going to do with it, but it's mine. And I can do what I want to do with it. It's very, very good news. I hope that's good news for you, because it sure is for me. I love having control. I love being able to not have to blame anybody or anything, really. I'd like to know what's happening inside of me and to be able to drive it, and it helps me be happy. It helps me be relaxed. It helps me be successful. It helps in so many different ways. I made a list of them the other day. I was just going and going and going. I posted on Facebook, and just EQ, and it's good for so many different things. Without it, good luck. And most people I ask about, have you ever heard of emotional intelligence? They're like, nope. What? But cool idea. I said, yeah, it's pretty neat, huh? Anyway, we have the power and control. I like this quote. It says, inner peace begins the moment we choose not to allow another person or event to control us, control our emotions. That doesn't mean we have to be, you can't control me. It's like, hey, you can't control me. What's happening to me, inside of me, is my choice. Nobody makes you Eleanor Roosevelt. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your permission. People can't make you feel anything emotionally. They can make you feel something positively, physically, but not so much emotionally. Check it out. So, assuming that you have emotional responsibility, you also have this responsibility, in my opinion, to manage the biggest, most important, most critical, most powerful, most redundant, most invasive relationship there is, which is your relationship with you. Okay? There's way more, there's a lot to it. We don't talk about it, but it's happening. And like our thoughts and our feelings, there's a relationship that's happened between me and me that that can be managed if done properly. So how you treat you, how you talk to you, how you listen to you, how you respect you, how you nurture you, how you motivate you, how you encourage you, how you discipline you, all that stuff is a relationship between you and you. And I'll get more into it, but it's kind of bizarre and it makes it feel kind of split personality, if you will. But the conversation that's happening in your head is between somebody and somebody else, right? Theoretically. And so we're just trying to go, oh, okay, so who and what's being said, and even more importantly, how is it being said, and what's the feeling behind it, what's the intention behind it, how do I talk to myself, do I motivate myself by putting me down, you stupid, you're weak, you slow, you're fat, is that supposed to be motivational for me? Well, is it? Is it working? You can do it if you want. If it works, it's fine. But if it's not working, the cool part is if it's not working, you can do something about it. You actually can do something about it because you're the boss. All right. We took emotional responsibility a few minutes ago, right? And you're the boss, and you get to decide what happens in your head. Okay. You get to make that choice, and you get to manage it. So, do you trust you? And that. Do you trust? Trust is a cool thing. It's not a yes or no. There's no yes or no answer, right? It's a whole continuum of yes, a little bit, yeah, to well, yeah, right? It's a whole continuum. And on trust, do I trust you to take care of yourself? Do I trust me? Do I trust me to speak up when it's time? Do I trust me to protect my family? Do I trust me to eat right, or do I make stupid decisions and just chow and let my inner child go? Look at that ice cream, right? Do I do that? And if I do that, and when I do that, then how do I deal with me? How critical am I? How nurturing am I? How do I direct me and try to go? You might want to quit doing that, Tubby. So, no name calling, by the way. So, how much do you trust yourself? Big question. Check it out over the next couple days or the rest of your life. How do you control you? How do you punish you when you do something that you're not proud of? How do you do it? Check it out. Please check it out. The relationship with you is literally depends. Your life literally depends on this relationship. Literally, I not too long ago had a good friend, committed suicide. Right, that's his relationship with him. He had some good relationships outside of him, and he actually were doing okay in some areas. But his relationship with him could never resolve it. And he couldn't figure out how to be inside his skin. Couldn't do it, and ended up said, "That's it. I give up." Nobody's around. You can't blame this on anybody. There's your relationship with you. Period. And that to me is kind of makes it seem a little more important. Kind of gives us a little sense of urgency if you think about it. Because, wow. If you can't deal with you, if you're having thoughts and feelings that you can't deal with, or you don't know how to deal with, or they're kicking your butt, or they're affecting every area of your life, whether you like it or not, that's not good. You're in trouble. You guys are you can. There's ways, find out how, learn more about yourself, listen to what's happening inside of you, listen to the intent behind it, listen to the voices, listen to some of that stuff. Doesn't mean you agree, right? Acceptance does not mean approval. Ask Doc Downing, acceptance does not mean approval. You can accept that you are being a butt to yourself and not approve of it, one single bit, but accept, are you? Yes or no? Yes? Then accept it, because that's what's happening. It is how it is, remember? So, if you don't like you, there's ways to shift that. If you don't love the person that's sitting in your skin, then there's ways to deal with that, and it has a lot to do with our relationship with us in the past. It's our relationship, present me with little me, with me in the past. So and we'll talk some more about that in a minute. But so first, I want you to be really, really aware and accept how it is, how things are feeling for you, how things are going. And how you deal with you. So it's pretty important. So here comes the 3 parts, and you can take this or leave it. I'll go through it kind of quickly, but this is how I see it, and seems to be work. People go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so there's 3 different parts. There's big you, little you, and kind of a universal you, I call it, which is bigger. Okay, so big you is me now, right now, in the present. You're sitting there watching this. You've decided to take in this information. You've decided that you're at least interested enough to watch for a little bit and taking it and consider it, right? You decided that. You're sitting there in the moment. You decided that. That's cool. That's you. So you is responsible for now. You is responsible for results. You is responsible, big you, is responsible for the doing and the saying and the writing and the posting and the expression. That's you doing that, because that's in the present. Okay, that we have lots of control over that, but that is us right now, is a big you. Okay, next is little you. Okay, and little you, we started this, it's inner child, long time ago, you that's affecting you now. Little you is having an effect on you now. But actually, little you can actually be any time in the past. So big you is now, but little you is all the information that you have, all your memories, all of your thoughts that you have already had, all your experiences that you've gone through, consequences to behaviors that you already did, because it already happened, right? And you did it, so that is how it is, right? Intentions that you had, attitudes you had, energy that you had, all that kind of stuff. It's everything that's ever happened to you and with you and inside of you is little you. And that affects big you, who's in the present, who makes the decisions and does what you do. Because only big you can do anything. Little you, it's too late. It's too late. So what are you going to do? So little you affects big you a lot. More than you might want to admit. A little you, anytime things in the past, your upbringing, your personality, your DNA, your environment, your parents, all that stuff affects you now. Everybody, all the time. Come to grips with it, right? Accept it. It's really important. And manage it, and that's what we're doing right now, is learning how to do just that. So, inner child is, the little you is you in the past. Big you is you in the present. And then there's another thing which I call the universal you in a lot of the double big yous. Some religions or some thoughts are about, the third eye, the all-knowing, the higher self, the higher power, that kind of thing. That's big you, the wise, knowing, the boss, the all-knowing, overseer, wise you. That is kind of directs things, that tells, manages and coaches and encourages and is the project manager of, all right, here's what we're going to do, and here's where we're going to live, and this is the job we're going to do, right? Okay, now how do I make that happen? All right, and you're doing all this stuff, so that project managing what you is going to be doing based on what happened to little you in the past. it can get confusing, but it's very important. It's a very, very important relationship. So little u plus big U equals life. You know, it's happening. So the self-talk that we're going back to is big U talking to little u? No, it's little u talking to big U, overseen by big W. So anyway, I mean, I've heard people go, what? Which is not a good response to this. So I made it up. So let's talk about some of the more specifics of the relationship and how that you talk to you. For example, how do you parent you? How do you negotiate with you? Let's say you want to do something and you want to do that, and you want to do this and you want to do that, and you want to do something good and you want to do something that you know is not so good. Or if you want to do 3 things at once, right? How do you handle that? How do you make a decision? How do you prioritize? How do you organize, right? That's all inside of you, and that's all stuff that you can manage. And that all has to do with your relationship with you and the talk that goes on in your head and in your heart and between your head and heart and between your thoughts and your feelings, and they go back and forth, and sometimes your thoughts win and sometimes your feelings win, and it's all about you going, all right, let's manage all of this. We got to learn how to motivate ourselves. We got to learn how to nurture ourselves. We got to learn how to focus ourselves. We got to learn how to calm ourselves. We got to learn how to fire ourselves up when necessary. That kind of thing. Those are all internal relationship skills, if you will. The voices in your head. Okay, there are voices in your head, right? You're not crazy. Everybody's got voices in their head, as far as I know. If not, sometimes my wife could do this. I ask her, "What are you thinking?" And she can say, "Nothing." And it's true. I can't do that. The only way I can do that is go to sleep. But I think it's funny because she could actually do that, which is cool. I would love to be able to do that. But other than that, we have pretty much conversation going on in our heads. And some of the interesting things to do is to go, okay, so if it's a voice that you don't like, or it's not working for you, or it's not effective, or it's not fun, and you don't want it there already, kind of thing, you can do some things like figure out whose voice is it actually. Is it being critical? Is it calling you names? Is it putting you down? Is it not trusting? Is it not helpful? Back to that word again. Is it helpful or not helpful? Is it not helpful? Then you can figure out whose voice it is, possibly, and sometimes it is your voice, but it's not your words, meaning someone else said it to you and now you're saying it to you. So like, when I was little, we moved a whole bunch, and I felt like people didn't want to be around me. And so I kind of decided that there was something wrong with me and that people didn't like me. And so I had these kind of voices in my head where I was going, I'd roll in of the eyes and the judgment and the, God, dude, and, just a general, it's actually shame. I've heard now, been able to define it, but it's a general, dude, you suck. You're not lovable, you're not fun, you're not loving, you're just, just a general disapproval. And that kind of voice going on in my head affects everything and kind of ruins everything, and it puts a yucky energy on everything. And I've been fighting it for a long time. Shame is a super important thing, which we'll get to in a sec here. But where did those voices? You weren't born that way. I wasn't born that way. When I was really, really little, I really liked me. Right? Some things happened over time that I decided these things, and I kind of put these conclusions, generalizations, personalizations in my head, and living on those without my knowledge. That's not cool. Then I got some knowledge. Then I went, wow, this is really not cool. Now that I see it, it's really not cool. But it's good. That's a good step because that's toward movement. And then I can start going, you know what? I don't want that. I don't agree with that. I don't even think that. Actually, I don't think that's true. Let me put it that way. I don't think that's true. So I slowly giving myself more positives and going, I hear the voice, I hear the criticism, I see the general shame, disgust thing, and I go, no, and I kind of overlay it with a more positive thing. But again, awareness and acceptance first, and then I take action by kind of overlaying a positive onto the negative, and they cancel each other out. So it can be done, it can be changed. Whose voice is it, and whose words are they, and do you even agree with them? First, kind of some of the steps. So more, what are you doing? If it's you, take a look at what's happening now. Sorry to be reading this, but I wrote it right before this because some of this was original thought, and I was like, wow. And I was writing as fast as I can, and I didn't have time to practice it, or I was like, go back and do bullets, and I'm like, I don't have time. They're waiting for me. So, are you doing things that make you feel good? Are you nourishing and nurturing? Are you taking care of your body? Do you make decisions that are effective and helpful to your body? Because you're in charge of you. Big you in the present is in charge of that. Are you taking care of your mind and heart and soul? Are you angry and resentful? Do you carry around baggage from the past and not forgive and get hateful and you could be angry. Anger is a whole deal subject, but an important subject and critical that you get good at it, and it's okay. Hatred, I don't know. So anger this is not okay with me. There's lots of things that are not okay with me. Lots of things that are not okay with me. Just yesterday I have bone marrow cancer, and it was gone for a long time, and it's been in remission for almost 3 years now, and it was wonderful. Well, yesterday I found out that my labs that I took last week didn't come out too good, and so I'm angry about that. I'm not angry at me. I'm not angry at them. Nobody did it to me, but I don't want to go through this again. I really don't. It was very painful and very expensive and very irritating and very annoying and very trash your schedule and having to deal with and think about and all that medical stuff and all the shots and pain and meds and chemo. I've been on 3 different kinds of chemo, and I lost all my hair, and I don't want to do that again. And I'm angry about that. I'm sad about it. I'm scared about it, and I'm angry about it. And I think that's okay. I don't think I'm bitter. I'm not like nasty. I don't have to get resentful and get hateful. I could just be angry. It's just good, clean anger. In my opinion, it's valid in my opinion, and that is how I feel. I'm accepting it, and I just do, and I'll get past it, and I'll get through this, and I'll do it again. At least we know of a treatment that worked for me. I'm pretty happy about that. So I'm going to go through it again, and I was telling the filmmaker here that's what we're doing. This is the best possible thing I could do is to sit down and share with you guys some of the stuff that we figured out, and maybe it'll help. As long as I can keep talking, I'll keep talking. So I don't try not to carry around a bunch of baggage around me with me. This is current, and it's real, and it's okay, and it's real. So I listen to little me. Little me's really scared, and I act based on that. So this is a really important part, is shame versus guilt. Am I going over too long? Okay. Shame versus guilt. So what's the difference between shame and guilt? Guilt is I did something wrong. Shame is I am wrong. Yeah, it's big, general, yucky person. Guilt is this behavior that I did was not cool, and I feel bad about it. I feel really bad about it. That's guilt, okay? That's guilt. That's about something I did, not who I am. It's just what I did. It's separating the person from the behavior. It's a big deal. Remember that, please. I used to have a bunch of shame about who I am. But I'm trying to shift that to, okay, I didn't like this thing, I did like this thing, I like that thing a lot, but I didn't like this thing. Okay, that's a guilt thing. That's something I did. I can change that behavior. It's not that I'm bad, right? It's like a parent thing. You don't say you are an awful kid, you are no good, right? You say, I don't like that you did that. Don't ever do that again. Specifically, I love you, but don't do that behavior. Big difference, right? Between you're bad and I don't like that behavior. Don't do that behavior again. Big difference, right? So do that with you. Remember, when you're self-talking to yourself, differentiate a behavior from you as a person. It's huge. And then, here's some good news. There's 2 different kinds of guilt. Could you check that out? I don't know if there's a good kind of shame, but there's a good kind of guilt. The bad kind of guilt is called punishing guilt. Well, it's bad. Punishing guilt is, you idiot, God, boom, boom, boom. You're beating on yourself. You're like, I can't believe I did that. I don't deserve anymore. I'm no good. Just trashing yourself over something that you did, right? You feel so awful that you just can't even be happy, that kind of thing. That's punishing guilt. That's beating on yourself. And it's not particularly helpful. It's not particularly productive. So watch that. The other kind of guilt is a productive guilt, I call it. Productive guilt is, dude, that was not cool. That was not a good idea. That was not cool. Don't ever do that again. Figure out a way that you never do that again and make sure it happens, okay? It's not that I'm mad at me, but I am mad at that behavior. I'm not going to allow myself to do that, and I got to figure out a way to not do that anymore. That's productive guilt. And once I do figure out how to not do that again, I've had some issues in this department before. You can ask my wife. Like, okay, here's the things I'm doing to make sure that I don't do that again. To make sure I need to manage me, parent me, talk to me, encourage me, not shame me, right? All those things, those kind of self-talk relationship, self-relationship things, so that I can make sure I don't do it again. Because if I trash myself, if I really bash it on me, what's the very worst thing that I could do, the worst punishment I can do to myself? Do it again, right? Do the same behavior again, and then feel bad again, and go, oh, see, I knew it. I knew that. I knew you were, me talking to me. I knew you, right? But productive guilt says, don't do that, and then you'll be proud of yourself, right? That would be pretty cool if you don't do that again, right? Right? Yeah, that would be pretty neat, right? You're punishing, that you make it productive. You find out how to not do it again, and then you let go of the pain and the anger, and you go, okay, I'm not looking back on what I did all the time. I'm looking like, okay, how do I handle this different in the future? What's going on inside of me? What kind of relationship do I have with myself so that I can handle it differently in the future? That's productive. That's emotionally intelligent. That is way more fun. Way more fun. I mean, it's not supposed to be fun, but shame is such a drag. It's just not helpful in any way. So here's another one that we talked about last time, which is complaining versus venting. Complaining is, it's punishing, it's victim talk, and they did it to me, and poor me, and how was I supposed to know, and it's not my fault, and and stuff's happening outside of me that's terrible, and I'm just complaining, whining, poor me kind of thing. That's complaining, okay? That is not particularly productive. Usually the other person feels bad. You feel worse when you're done. It's not productive, okay? But take just a teeny tweak, actually this way. When you're a victim, right? You're down here and you're going, I did this, all complain. Or you can go above the line where this is powerless. You can go above the line where you're not a victim and you go, I'm powerful, and I can go, you know what? This is not cool, and I feel this way, and I need to get these feelings out of me, not onto you necessarily, out of me, so that I can feel better. I don't want to keep feeling all this stuff. So I was doing it with a friend of mine, Mr. John. We're doing a dyad where one of us talks for like a half an hour and the other one, and you bring out feelings and such, and then we switch, and it really helpful in just getting venting is a wonderful, magical, beautiful, emotionally super high emotional intelligence thing. Complaining, not so much. Venting, boom. Venting is awesome, but it implies that you are emotionally responsible and you're in charge of yourself and your feelings, and you made them, and they're your thoughts, and I can let them go if I want to when I need to. I cried a couple times yesterday after I found that out, and I was just, and it was great. It was great. And anger, cry, sad and anger, both. And not at anybody. Who am I going to be mad at? I'm just mad. And so be mad, all right? Emotional intelligence is super simple. If you're sad, cry. If you're angry, growl, scream, something. Feel it for a minute, even just for a minute, just for a second, because that's awareness, acceptance, and action all in one time. Real fast. You're like, yeah, I'm angry, yep, ah, and I can, right? It's okay, and it gives me the full range of my emotions and lets me be all of who I am. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. So venting, yay. Complaining, boo. Are you powerless or powerful? You may be powerless about the situation, but you're not powerless about what you do with your feelings. Check it out. You may be powerless over the situation, but you are not ever powerless about what you do with your feelings and your thoughts and your emotions and your behaviors. Not powerless. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I spent 3 weeks in the hospital last time, and it was pretty awful, and I was there pretty much by myself most of the time in the middle of the night, and I couldn't sleep, and it was in a lot of pain, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this whole thing, and I'm not going to feel like a victim the entire time, and I think I pulled it off pretty well. I didn't feel like, oh, God, poor me. I was like, ow, this hurts, or, oh, all right, get up and walk. Get up and walk, and I used to walk around the ward there with me and my IV pole and just all over, and then the nurses wave and bring stuff to me. It was really neat. But anyway, I'm not a victim. It just is. This is what I got to do. My job when the doctors tell me to do something is to go, okay. Okay, you can stick that in me. Yeah. Anyway, so steps to listening to yourself, talking to yourself. Shut up. Shut your mouth first. Sometimes maybe even shut your eyes if you really want to hear. Open your heart and listen. That's SOUL. Shut up, open up, and listen. So communicating that way with other people and with yourself is a phenomenal way to connect and to hear and to be and to meld, to hear, I don't know what you call it, to feel the other person. You just shut up, open up, and listen. People will tell you stuff that you would be amazed if you shut up and listen to them. And they want to tell you, they want to release. They just want some safe place and somebody to go, wow, really? Really? And it's like, ow, that must have been, yeah, and you're like, yeah, and they, and it can be so healing. It can be such a beautiful thing, and it costs you exactly nothing. Them or you, maybe some tissues. So, anyone can find the dirt in someone, be the one who finds the gold. And that's about choosing the positive, choosing that you can be miserable if you want to. You can complain, you can have all kind of problems. Or not really. You can kind of like people, you can love people, you can find good, you can make yourself happy, you can dance, you can sing, you can cry, you can, right? You got all those choices. You can do any of those anytime you want. If you're not doing them, and it's your nickel. It's up to you. So we say purposefully positive. Choose positive on purpose. Our thoughts determine our feelings, and our feelings determine our behaviors. Actually, our thoughts and our feelings determine our behaviors. So we have thoughts on our left brain, we have feelings on the right brain. You put them together, we do, we say, we write, we feel, we think, we do, based on our thoughts and our feelings. So be aware. This is about making wise choices, make things that will help you be happy. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Isn't that cool? Attention, and that includes with yourself. If you're not liking you, try listening to you a little bit more. How about having a little more compassion? How about having a little empathy for you, not feeling sorry for you, just going, wow, that sounds like that hurts. Wow, that sounds hard. Letting big you, allowing little you to have the pain, the trauma that little you went through. That's what we do in our workshops, is we help people with trauma and some of the worst things that ever happened to them. Like, yeah, that's what we want to talk about, sorry. But that's where we're having big you, we have them take their little you by the hand and go back there and go, okay, I'm here with you, let's go back through this, and let's let you, little you, feel this stuff, and let little you re-experience it and come back out stronger and facing it and going, you know what, that's not how that's going to go down. How do I want to what's my takeaway? What's my takeaway from this? Whatever happened to you, what are you taking away from it? Bunch of lousy pictures, bunch of lousy feelings, bunch of lousy thoughts, bunch of lousy beliefs, that kind of stuff about yourself. That's one of the options. One of the options also is, I think I will find some good in it, spin it to win it, I call it. So I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Some of this is from last time. So what's the purpose of your communication? This is really important too when you're talking to yourself, when you hear some of the stuff that goes on in your head. What are you trying to say? People always have an intention and a purpose. There's a purpose to all communication. There's a purpose to all behavior. So what's the point? What's your point? That's one of my favorite things in my head. Really? What's your point? If somebody is saying something to you, or you're saying something to you, they got a point. They have a reason. What is it? What is it? If you can find what's behind it, what's the intention behind it, what's the feeling behind it, what's the attitude behind it, a lot of times you can go, oh, yeah, okay. It makes a lot more sense, and it makes it easier to tweak it, to spin it a little bit, if you can find out what it is. If you're calling yourself names, what's the point? What is your point? Well, you're bad. That's not a point. That's what I'm saying to myself. That I suck, right? And maybe that's what I'm saying. What's the point? Well, my point is that I am very scared. I feel powerless about making my life look like I want it to, and I'm really scared to take risks, and I'm really scared to step out there. So if I tell myself negative stuff over and over and over again, then I won't take the risks, and I won't go a step out there, and therefore I won't fail, and I won't be disappointed. So pretty good idea, huh? Maybe if that's working for you, that's cool. But just check it out. What's your point? It's probably a good attitude behind it, but maybe a yucky way of getting there, and it'll give you more choices. So listen for your feelings. Give yourself feedback. You like I heard you feel that way, right? Or I heard that thought. I don't like that thought. I don't like that thought. Here's another thought. I'm going to turn that thought into something more positive. And so you can give yourself feedback. You can give yourself like, hey, that was a good one. Or that was not a good one, right? So it's you managing you, giving yourself feedback. You can also dig deeper. What was the point behind that? What is your intention? Where did you get that from? When did you first feel that way? One of the big questions that we ask in our class is, when as a child did you first feel that way? Something that's bothering them. And usually people can come up with it. When was it? And it was a time back when I was a kid. I remember I was really disappointed, or I really hurt, or I got beaten, or that kind of thing. That's when it first started. And like, okay, cool, let's deal with that. Let's let little you deal with their feelings. Finally, big you is going to be your champion, and little you is going to be safe, and you're going to make a safe place and hold space for them and let them feel what they finally have been wanting to feel, and their poor little body's been carrying it around for 10 or 20 or 50 years. And once they can face that and go through that, and from a feeling level, they can come back. You can come back stronger and clearer and lighter and more colorful and more open and more sparkly and more back to our natural state that we were born in. We're only born with 2 fears and no anger. So any fears that we have except for the big 2, And any anger that we have is learned, which means you thought of it, you told yourself a story, and you're carrying it around with you. Do you want it? It's your neck call. That's the self-talk thing, and that's the self-analysis thing. It's wonderful. Remember, respect is a key. Always in all communications, all relationships, in my opinion, respect is a huge key to it. If I'm bashing on myself, if I'm calling me names, if I'm putting myself down on purpose, if I'm punishing myself, if I'm being verbally or physically abusive to myself, that is not respectful. That's not cool. Don't do that. That's not cool. That is not respectful, and it's not helpful. Do it different. So, and watch out for judgments, which means differentiate, if you can, the difference between your thoughts and your feelings. It's a very important and a very big deal. If you are thought, like I did the other day, I feel ugly. Well, ugly is not a feeling. Ugly is a judgment. Ugly is a thought. Ugly is a comparison. That's a thought. That's not a feeling. I can feel embarrassed. I can feel ashamed. I can feel sad. I can feel, I guess you can almost feel less than, but that's kind of a thought too. But anyway, if you can distinguish with that as a thought and a judgment, that's different than your feelings, and we deal with them a little bit differently. And we've got to deal with both, but they're different, and it's important distinction if you can. So, my thing's stuck. Well, I don't know what's next. Go to the next one, please. Yep, one more. Next one. Next one. Okay, well, I guess we're pretty much done. I'm sure I'm over time anyway. So this is the 9th one that we've done of these. The other ones be available on cable channel 3 or on YouTube. I have them, and we'll be able to. Sorry. Facebook. And Facebook, yes, on Mendocino Coast Media. Mendocino Coast Media on Facebook. Look it up, and these all should be or will be on there, so you can watch them at your leisure. Go to the next one. Just some stuff about me. Next, I'm the EQ dude, or not the EQ dude, an EQ dude. You too can be an EQ dude, or do that. If anybody wants to, I'm just. My mission is to teach and give what I know. Nobody taught me this stuff. We had to learn it by ourselves in the school of hard knocks and figure out how to do some of it. And we've been teaching it now for 31 years. And so I figured out a few things, and I found some people are really hurting, and found some things that people, as you know, the suicide rate is going up again, and it's bad. It's bad, man. It's like number 2 cause of death in teens and young adults in the United States. In the United States, number 2 cause of death. That's a problem. That is a problem. So and it's an emotional intelligence problem. It's a self problem inside, not outside, inside. And so that's what we've been working with. That's why I'm here spouting all this all over. So maybe it'll help. So our goal is to teach 1 billion people EQ by the year 2039, 1 billion, and I think we can do it. I don't have a reason not to, and I don't have anything better to do, and so that's what we're trying to do. There's a lot of people in the world helping with this. I'm not the only one. There's a lot going on in EQ in the world. One of my whole presentations was about, you'd be amazed how much stuff is happening at university level, in government, in military, in businesses, lots and lots and lots of businesses, kids in school, all this stuff. EQ is just skyrocketing because people are going, wow, it's free, it's unlimited, it's in each of us, and it is life-changing, and it's kind of the point of all this, and we didn't learn about it. Now that we're learning about it, we're just like, wow. And it's really, really simple. I would say, warning, it's really, really simple, and it's really, really hard at the same time. Very simple, not easy. Simple, not easy. So, if you're sad, cry, right? Oh, yeah, easy, right? No, it's not. It's simple, but it's not easy. But it's, one of my things is it ain't always fun, but it's got to get done. So deal with it. And once we deal with stuff that's not easy, then we get courage, we get self-trust, we get self-esteem, we get self-acceptance, that kind of thing. We get pride, we get power, personal power, all that good stuff. So if we can challenge ourselves to do some of this hard work, hard emotional work, we come out of it going, ha ha ha, yes, I didn't know I could do that. Yes, 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 right? And who wins on that deal? Everybody. You and everybody around you, I guarantee it. It's pretty cool. So, we have a book called Taking Control of Your Life. If you're interested, it's free. If you want, it's you set the price, so it's free if you want, or you can donate something. And it's on bit.ly/EQ book, bit-ly, and then EQ book. If you want it, go get it. I'm Matt Pearlstein. You're welcome to. I have mattpearlstein.com. You're welcome to join me there. Look me up on Facebook. Let's be friends. I run a whole bunch of Facebook groups. I run LinkedIn groups with 100,000 people in it on EQ. That's all it's about. The Emotional Intelligence Network. Come look us up, and let's be friends. We can connect on LinkedIn, or we can be friends on Facebook, and I can show you around. And or type in the word EQ Rocks in Facebook and click on that, and it's pretty wild. And read, and there's a lot of stuff on EQ now. So I'm very happy about that. I feel very encouraged that we're going in a good direction emotionally in the world. It doesn't seem like it. There's a lot of bad stuff happening, but EQ-wise, we're gonna change the world and maybe save the day. So, anyway. All right, EQ101.com, EQ-101.com. Somebody stole EQ101, or mattpearlstein.com, and come and talk to me, or on Facebook. So, thanks for listening. Good luck. Be nice to you. Be aware of you. Accept you, and take cool actions, wise actions, emotionally intelligent, aware actions. Bye.